Hello and welcome, this is TV Papua News of June 2015. Waving the Morningstar flag at the Dutch annual Veterans Day. Melanesians take lead on future West Papuan peace. Papua is not a hunting ground like East Timor or Aceh. Protests and arrests escalate in West Papua before and after MSG meeting. And proclamation on the 1st of July 1971. Waving the Morningstar flag at the Dutch annual Veterans Day. Like every year, Papua NL was present at the Dutch annual Veterans Day to support the Dutch New Guinea veterans, whom normally carry the West Papuan Morningstar, also known as Sampari, flag in the official march. Since last year, a new law forbids them to carry it during the official march. And many believe this came forward out of the political pressure from Indonesia. An attempt to silence the call for a free West Papua in the Netherlands. To support and recognize the Dutch New Guinea veterans and to show that Indonesia cannot limit the freedom of speech in the Netherlands, Papua NL was present with many flags along the march and the festival area. The police asked many to identify themselves for carrying the flag and told people they could not stand together. Both actions are not in their rights to do so. However, the day went forward without any incidents this year. Melanesia takes lead on future West Papuan peace. The Melanesian spearhead group known as the MSG has accepted the United Liberal Movement for West Papua, which is known as the ULMWP, as observer, according to international media.
After half a century, West Papua's independence movement has finally taken its place at the Melanesian family table.
Please join me again in putting our hands together to congratulate the United Liberation Movement for West Papua.
Fiji, Papua New Guinea, Vanuatu, Solomon Islands and New Caledonia's FLNKS have given them observer status in the regional Melanesian spearhead group. Wasting no time, the West Papuans used their first ever diplomatic recognition to highlight their struggle.
For 53 years, we have endured the most severe human rights violations: torture, killing, disappearance, rape.
Melanesian recognition too for Indonesia, upgraded from observer to associate member status.
Fiji is convinced that this is not only the best way to improve the situation for our Melanesian brothers and sisters in the West Papua, it is the only way.
Indonesia bitterly opposed the West Papuan application, saying it's the only true representative of its citizens.
Including the principle of sovereignty, equality of independence of all states, and non-interference in the domestic affairs of states.
Since Indonesia took over the former Dutch colony in the 1960s, there's been a brutal conflict in West Papua that's estimated to have cost hundreds of thousands of lives. The West Papuans wanted full membership of the Melanesian spearhead group, but say they will accept observer status as a starting point. The Indonesians will be represented by the 5 governors of its Papuan provinces. The Freedom Movement says they are merely puppets of the government. The West Papuan and Indonesian status means others could now join, including Australia's Melanesian Torres Strait Islanders.
I guess the decision has opened up the window for others to.
The West Papuans will again seek full membership at the next Melanesian Spearhead Group meeting in 2 years' time. Stefan Armbruster, SBS World News.
Papua is not a hunting ground like East Timor or Aceh, says priest. The chairman of Churches Communion in Indonesia, known as the PGI, Reverend Philip Erari, asked the Indonesian Human Rights Commission to thoroughly investigate the killings of 4 high school students on the 8th of December last year. And in the meanwhile, another accident where 1 person was killed while 7 others were wounded when some armed men attacked civilians at Ugubuga, Kamu Timur, Dogiyai Regency. Papua is not a hunting ground like Timor or Aceh, and in the name of humanity I asked Mr. Abbas, Mr. Natalis Pigai and Ms. Sandra Moniaga and other human rights commissionaries to speak up and to thoroughly investigate these 2 cases, said Philip Erari. He also said, the most important point that should be responded and supported is the pressure to Jokowi, the president of Indonesia. Thus, the National Human Rights Commission could immediately already start investigating the Panyai case on the 8th of December in 2014 and the shooting incident over 6 junior high school students in Dogiyai in June 2015. And whatever they did, there must be a legal process. They cannot just shot them like that, he said. And initially the victims came home from school passing the Trans Road when suddenly a car from Nabiritu and Naratali crashed the dock. The students wanted to block the car and ask for their responsibility. When suddenly the uniformed man came out of the car and shot them. According to Reverend Yosani Agapa, 15 years old, was killed on the scene after hit by a bullet in his chest, and Julius Motte, 60 years old, was injured by a knife. Protests and arrests escalate in West Papua before and after MSG meeting. More than 500 activists have been arrested over the past month across West Papua, as protests, demonstrations and meetings build up in the lead-up to the Melanesian Spearhead Group meeting. This meeting was held in Honiara on the Solomon Islands. Ronnie Kereni, a Melbourne-based spokesperson for the Free West Papua movement, told Red Flag Media that the crackdown by Indonesian police has been widespread, from the Central Highlands to the cities. There is a growing fear that more Papuans will be detained and arrested just for coming out in support of the application for the MSG. A lot of the prominent key organizers and leaders in the movement are still being detained unlawfully. They are being mistreated and withheld from any medical access. In recent months, there have been protest and solidarity actions in a number of countries across the Pacific. You can see there is a growing support from the grassroots. We know that there is an upward pressure on the various governments. And a lot of NGOs have come on board. Church groups have come on board. And opposition political leaders have come on board in the support of the application for membership to the MSG. And there are also bigger interests at play, Kereni said. A couple of months ago, the foreign minister of Indonesia went around. He went around with a briefcase of $20 million promising the MSG members that if they support Indonesia's bid to become an associate member of the MSG, then the 20 million will be used for capacity development projects for the MSG members. Fiji has been funded and supported by the Indonesian military. And also, Indonesia is bidding for PNG to become an ASEAN member. And at least 14 Papuans were arrested on Friday in Fak Fak district, which was after the MSG meeting in West Papua, before holding a Thanksgiving ceremony in the Secretariat of the United Liberations Movement for Papua, following the MSG meeting. They were just gathered and were about to start praying when police came in and dismissed them. The police also seized the computer, some posters of the independence flag and other attributes, said Freddy Warpopor, who is the coordinator of the district chapter of the Institute for Human Rights Study and Advocacy, also known as ELSHAM. Proclamation on the 1st of July 1971. The 1st of July is an Independence Day for West Papua. 44 years ago, the leaders of the OPM organization Papua Merdeka decided to proclaim West Papua's independence in full accordance with the wish of the Papuan people. The place where the proclamation was read is called Victoria, is based on the border with PNG. This is the translation of the proclamation. To the Papuan people from Nambai to Merauke, from Sorong to Balim Star Mountains, and from Biak to the island of Adi. By the grace of God, we have today been given the opportunity to let it be known to you and all, in conformity with the sincere will of the Papuan people, that is from today, 1st of July 1971, the people and the country of West Papua have become an independent nation, de jure and de facto. May God be with us and may the world hereby learn that the noble striving of the Papuan people after becoming a free nation in its own country of West Papua has now become a fact. Victoria, the 1st of July 1971, in the name of the people and the government of West Papua, the President Set Mrumkorem, Brigadier General. People across West Papua took to the streets to commemorate this proclamation. This was the news of June 2015. Safe travels for coming month.